Hi all, welcome back to DBU. Thanks for watching and please subscribe. In our last episode, we got deep into how good grounding can influence the outcome of our recordings. Unfortunately, good electrical wiring is not enough to have a quiet sounding room. You need to have good audio wiring too. The next two episodes cover how wiring for audio can affect your overall sound. We're going to start with transmission lines for audio first. Most of you are already familiar with a guitar or mic cable. We use these common interconnects to tie pieces of gear together. Over the years, I've been subjected to a ton of lectures from a variety of experts on this topic. Some claim it's impossible to hear any difference between wire brands, while others claim that the difference is night and day. I can personally attest that there is a difference between wire brands. Night and day might be a stretch though. Whether you like the sound of the brand or not is a completely different story. I've wired studio systems with Canary, Gepco, Belden, Mogami. You name it, I've probably touched them all. I personally wire all of my wiring projects with Mogami because it's easy to work with and I like the sound of it. But I've had excellent results with the other brands too. I'm not really a cable bigot. As long as it's good, I'll use it. There are some brands I would avoid, but I didn't mention them here. It's beyond the scope of this episode for me to dig deep into the more technical aspects of wire physics, like skin effect, metallurgy, chemistry, and design. Suffice it to say, there are plenty of articles out there by people far more knowledgeable than I, who you should listen to on that subject. The anatomy of an audio cable is pretty complex for something so simple. I'm going to include some visuals on the screen as we go along for demonstration. Audio wire is basically made up of two thin stranded lengths of 22 gauge wire wrapped in a non-conductive insulation within a shield of spun or braided wires. The outside is coated in a layer of some sort of jacket, usually PVC or rubber. The outer shield helps protect the internal conductors from RF and EMI interference. To further maximize RF rejection, the internal wires are additionally twisted together inside. For this reason, we call this type of wire twisted pair. The two wires inside are referred to as the hot and cold, or plus and minus. They typically have two different colors, but each manufacturer does it differently. The spiral shield acts as the audio ground, as referenced in our last video. Some cables use an additional thin wire along the shield called the drain wire, and it's sufficient to use for ground termination. This type of cable is commonly referred to as balanced mic cable, though it can be used for more than just mics. It's used to connect pretty much every device in the audio world. Also, because mic cabling is so plentiful in the studio world, a bundled version of mic cable is made, known as multi-pair cabling. They include pair counts as low as 2 and as high as 48. They're mostly used for making studio-grade snakes. Unbalanced instrument cable, however, has its own type of construction. Instrument cable is a stranded single-conductor cable where the center conductor tends to be thicker than a mic cable, and also with a thicker non-conductive jacket. The outer shield, or ground, is spun or braided, all wrapped within a thick outer jacket. The extra thickness is required for cable robustness, as instrument cables are subject to a lot more abuse than your typical mic cable. Instrument cable can be confused for speaker cable sometimes, especially if the speaker cable is wrapped in a single jacket, like instrument cable. This is something we want to avoid because they are not interchangeable. Using a speaker cable on a guitar defeats the spiraled RF shield and makes the guitar unbelievably noisy. A similar situation can happen if you use mic cable. Using an instrument cable on the output of an amp can affect the impedance of the signal because the conductors don't match. Speaker cable consists of two thick separate stranded wires, individually wrapped and sometimes twisted inside a common jacket. Incidentally, some people I know claim they actually prefer the sound of solid core electrical wire, or Romex, as a substitute for speaker cable. But I haven't tried it yet. It could be for real, I don't know. What makes the three types of cables immediately distinguishable from each other are the connectors. The connector on an unbalanced instrument cable, and sometimes a speaker, is a 1/4" phono plug. Balanced mic cables are always 3-pin XLR, unless they're part of a more sophisticated system like a stereo mic or something. Occasionally, you may find a 1/4" 3-conductor cable, also known as tip ring sleeve or TRS, and the wiring inside could be balanced, maybe not. So what is this balanced versus unbalanced thing I keep talking about? Well, as you guessed it, I'm running out of time for today, so you'll have to check into the next video to find out. I encourage you to subscribe to my content, leave a comment, and check back for more stuff. Thank you for watching. Until next time, cheers.